present to you the LEGO Harry Potter's Hogwarts Icon Collector's Edition. Wow, that was a long name. A big name. Suitably big for the size of the set. This beautiful magical creation, built up of 3,010 pieces, features most of the popular icons found in the Harry Potter movie series. This is a large set full of lots of detail, so I'll have to break it down into little pieces, talking you through in the order in which you build it in the manual. You first start this build with the iconic Harry Potter glasses. These glasses are simply built using a small amount of pieces in an elegant way. They're actually life-size and can fit on my face, so that's a really cool feature. I like the way in which the arms are made so that they can bend out, so you can sit them down like that. Although I don't like how they overflex, and you could sit them down like that, which does not look good. Although I understand that they couldn't really avoid that issue if they wanted to make the arms hinged. If you wanted to add a bit of realism to this little build, you could add a bit of sellotape in the middle here, and it could perfectly portray Harry Potter's glasses in the first couple of films as he kept breaking them. The second part of this build is the much sturdier, much more detailed looking, again life-size Harry Potter wand, which you can perfectly hold in your hand as such. It's made of two different colours of brown toned bricks, dark brown for the handle and a reddish brown for the shaft. It's a very sturdy build, so you're not going to break it even if you wanted to give it a flick. It is attached to the main build from this little bobble, and I like that because I don't really like standalone pieces in a build. I like everything to connect together, so it's just nice that this has a little mounting slot onto the main build, and I'll show you that now. As you can see just here, there's that grey little clip that you can just slot the wand straight into, and it sits on the front just like that. How perfect is that? Next in this set, you go on to build a stack of 3 books in which Hedwig stands upon. At the bottom, you have this book. This iconic book is actually Tom Riddle's diary, one of the Horcruxes that Lord Voldemort splits his souls into. There isn't much detail stating that this is Tom Riddle's diary other than what's stated in the manual, the fact it's got a black cover and gold corners. There's no text written on the top on either side. There's no detail on any of the spine or any of the spine of any of these 3 books, which would be a cool feature. I understand it would have been a sticker, which would be annoying, but if they just put titles of popular books in the movies that were mentioned in the movies, that would add a bit more detail and make these other 2 books a bit more relevant. Otherwise they just blue and red study books. But it does make a lovely display stand for Hedwig to stand on. These books are stacked using connector type cogs so that you can angle them, and thus it looks like a much more realistic and natural staggering of the books. I want to just mention that with the Tom Riddle's diary, I really like how they've incorporated pages in this book as if to state it's open. Obviously you can see it's open, but they've stacked bracket type seat pieces in a way, loosely, so they do wiggle a bit, but they've just wedged them in between 2 other brackets, top and bottom, to represent a really nice detailed looking pages on the book. I think that's a really smart and clever build. On the very top of the stack of books sits this lovely potions tray, previously owned, or is currently owned, by Hermione Granger, as the HG stated on that there. And that piece there is a printed piece, not a sticker. So it saves you having to stick one sticker. However, these vials of potions are all stickers. We'll go into much further detail on those in just a second. There's 5 potions in total, to which one of them is slightly more special in a subtle way. Let's take a look at those 5 potions closer up. Firstly, we have Gillyweed, then we have Wormwood Infusion, Polyjuice Potion, Asphodel, and the 5th and final one is the Felix Felicis, also known as Liquid Luck. These 4 main potions are all made in a similar style vial, a beautiful and subtle build. We're containing different contents. So the gillyweed has these plant-like pieces. In it, the wormwood infusion and the polyjuice potion have a slightly different colour green transparent stud, and the asphodel has this brown stud piece on it. All the markings on here are all stickers, which could be a slight pain to apply, as all stickers are, but it just adds a nice touch. The numbers on the vials are supposed to represent certain important features, such as dates. So on the wormwood infusion, and I believe down here on the asphodel are dates of birthdays or dates of births for the designers of this set. The fifth potion, the Felix Felicis, is one of the ones you build towards the start of the set from a few pieces, again with another sticker on it, but this isn't actually made of white pieces, it's made of glow-in-the-dark pieces, which I think is a really cool and neat touch. I didn't realise this at first, I thought it was just made of white pieces, but it was until I went to bed and woke up in the middle of the night and noticed that this on my desk was glowing green, which again just shocked me, surprised me, and I think it's a really cool and neat touch. So yeah, those are the 5 potions. They sit up in that potion container carrier on the back of the model, unfortunately, but it's such a hugely detailed model with lots of things in it that I guess something's got to stick at the back. So yeah, we'll now move on to the Golden Snitch, which is another really cool but simple and elegant design. The Golden Snitch sits up here attached to the main frame by a rod. I'm just going to pull that off so I can take a closer look. He says off it comes with the rod. It's a very elegant round build using some of these dish golden pieces. It's all made of golden pieces. Well, I say all. The interior is pale nougat pieces by the look. And it has these lovely balloon-shaped, I believe, wing pieces, initially made for a hot air balloon, I think. Let me put that back on. So yeah, you can move that rod around just so you can position the Snitch exactly how you like it to be on your display model piece. And whilst it's in view, you might as well take a look at the scarf. So if I move the wand out of the way, you can see your house scarf that you sit. You get a choice to choose whichever house you want to choose. I chose Ravenclaw just to be not in the mainstream, basically. I didn't want to go for Gryffindor because I imagine everyone would. I don't want to go for Slytherin because they're evil and corrupt. I like the colour of blue. I don't think there was enough light blue or grey, apart from the book, on this entire set. So yeah, you can either go for Slytherin, which is a yellow and black coloured scarf, Gryffindor, which would be yellow and red, Ravenclaw, which is the blue and grey, or Hufflepuff, which would be the green and grey. So I like how you can customise whichever house you want there. They haven't just gone for Gryffindor. I think that's really cool. And this set also contains a chocolate frog, because why wouldn't it? It's iconic from the first movie, and I just love it. I love the realism that it shows, the accuracy to the frog shape and build, and you can play around with its legs and its feet angle, and yeah, it's just a really cool, nice little display feature. I tend to have this stuck to the back corner of the Tom Riddle's diary, just to attach it to the rest of the model, but it is supposed to be a freestanding piece. And of course, with the chocolate frog, you've got to have the chocolate frog card. This obviously is going to be Albus Dumbledore. That's the first chocolate frog card that Harry Potter got in the very first movie, and I think it's beautifully portrayed, very smart build, including these star details that are just pushed in on the top, and it stands on this beautiful golden slash brown stand, along with the other gold minifigures that you get with this set, Professor McGonagall and Hagrid. This stand does have some extensions that you can put in between Albus and Professor McGonagall and Hagrid on both sides, in order to stand the other gold minifigures that you can get from the 20th anniversary released sets. So it is now my mission to buy the rest of those sets, just to collect all the golden minifigures so I can complete this stand, have it standing out at its full extension spread in front of this beautiful icon set. I think that'd be really cool. So the last detail of this magnificently large set to mention before we go on to the main feature, and to which you can just about see at the top of the screen there, is of course the Hogwarts acceptance letter. Everyone as a child, when they first watched the first film, was wishing for one of these to fly through from an owl through their letterbox, flooding through in the hundreds. Well, it definitely was my wish anyway. I think this is a really nice touching feature. It's printed onto 3 large plates where you have a blank space at the top to write your name if you wish to abuse and vandalise a Lego set. Obviously I won't. But it just gives you a space, if you were to give this to a child, for them to personalise it a bit, which I think is really cool, and has the exact wording that was stated on the acceptance letter that was sent to Harry Potter. So I think that's really cool, and I'll just zoom out, and you can see at the bottom there, or if I move the camera up, that Hedwig is holding the letter with the claws. Which again, really kind of cool feature, as if it's carrying the letter. I like that. And you can see that Hedwig is in the fully wings out kind of, I guess, landing, you could say, pose with these really detailed feathers, and we'll just go into that now in further detail. And here is the main feature of this set, Hedwig, with the wings out, looking stunning. Interesting fact, Hedwig is portrayed as a female owl in the movies, but it's actually played by a male owl, as it's only the male owls that have white feathers. You can see all these feather pieces. They can move slightly, wiggle around, especially the top ones can rotate. They're all individual pieces connected by ball joints, but they do have, especially the bottom ones can move. They do have places in which you can push them up and they'll stop, so that you can get an equal fannage of all the feathers. That one's now loose. Oops, I might have broken that. However, you can't really move them too much. You can't make them flap up and down. It's purely for display purposes that they're open. And that's the same on both pieces. It's a bit of a repetitive building process of those individual feathers, but they're slightly different, so it's not too bad. The head can fully rotate, just as real owls can, which I think is a really cool feature. However, if you have it just posed like that, that's a bit creepy to wake up to. So I tend to have it slightly looking off to the side. Stands on 2 mirror and identical legs with claws that can again move on ball joints, but I have them sitting down on the letter. And if I rotate this around, and you can see the tail feathers, which again move and adjust, but if you push them back far enough, they have stopping points, so that again you can create an equal fanning of all the feathers. You can see the ball joints I was on about, just up and down here, and you've got these other feathers that can move up and down, but if you push them down far enough, again there are stopping points. And I think it's really cool that there are stopping points for all the feathers, just because it makes it easy to kind of equally just equally fan them out, so that they're a perfect mirror of each other, and it's symmetrical. That's the word I was looking for, in every way. You have these lovely quarter circle flat tiles to add extra detail, and all these grey and black intermittent pieces to show the spotty blackness of a snowy owl, because it's not completely pure white. This is a beautifully detailed, a very sturdy build as well. It slightly wobbles, if I just rotate it back around. It slightly wobbles on the Technic stand that it sits on, that the books cover. But otherwise, it's really sturdy. It's not likely to break, especially if you're not going to move it too much, considering it's a display model as opposed to an interactive play model. You shouldn't be moving it too much anyway. And I think it's just a beautiful feature to top it off and sit on top of all the other iconic bits that we've gone through in this video. So to sum up, this magical, magnificently huge set is definitely worth the purchase for any Harry Potter or even a Lego fanatic that just admires decent build, decent quality, lots of detail, and just a beautiful, stunning display model. Even if it is the price of £219.99, I still think it's very much worth it, especially for those exclusive minifigures, the golden ones that are only found in this set, and them themselves are worth quite a lot of money if you wanted to sell them on. Personally, I'm not going to sell this on anytime soon. It's going to sit on my shelf under an acrylic box, so I can admire it every day because I just love it. Thank you for listening. If you want to see more reviews like this, feel free to subscribe. You've been listening to I'm Breaking It. See you in the next one.